Well, I'm happy to say that today we are here to honor not just one gem, but three. And not just to sing the praises of entrepreneurs who have cashed out, but of entrepreneurs and companies who will continue to lift this region and raise the awareness of the rest of the country and the world that Northeast Ohio is really the best location in the nation to build a business. The first company I want to introduce you to is Explorus. Now, for a company that didn't have a formal business plan, they seem to have done pretty well for themselves. Big data, which is the heart and soul of Explorus, is big. There's no bigger big data company in Cleveland than Explorus. We had a chance to introduce you to the founders of Explorus earlier in the year. CEO Steve McHale and President Charlie Lougheed are no strangers to the concept of startup and big data. They had started and grown a company called Everstream into the largest census-level media measurement, data warehousing, and analytics platform in the world, measuring usage across 25 million households. Now, this was a decade ago. With Explorus, they hope to blow through that number, and they already have, having built a network of hospitals that covers 14 million patients and over 44 billion, and that's with a B, curated clinical, financial, and operational data points. That's big data, and that's just within the first 2 years. The company recently closed on an additional venture round, adding Heritage Group to its list of VCs, which also includes Austin Ventures and Sante Ventures, all VCs from outside the state of Ohio. They are a 2011 Gartner Cool Vendor, and now they are a 2012 OVA Venture of the Year finalist. Please join me in welcoming John Kalmeyer of Explorus.
A brief minute would be great. Okay. Thank you. Actually, I am not with Explorus. I'm an appointed recipient for the award today. But I have been an outside consultant with Explorus for 2 years now, since its inception. And I would definitely have to say about Charlie and Steve that they are just tireless. They're tireless, they're tenacious, and a tad unstable at times. But fortunately, they've got Dr. Anil Jain on their team to help kind of provide a little bit of ballast there. The marketing strategy has changed about 12 times in 2 years, and that's probably not uncommon. Definitely keeps us on our toes. And just would like to say that we're looking forward to a lot more growth and a lot more success in retaining local talent in the Cleveland market, especially in the tech space. So thanks for the award.
Awesome. Okay. The next company I want to introduce you to is Toa Technologies. Now, Toa Technologies is in the business of mobile business optimization. Now, I don't know what that means, but I've learned that it means that when Our House Furniture promises to deliver your couch at 2 p.m. on Thursday, it will be there at 2 p.m. on Thursday. And for me, that's meaningful. TOA is truly a global company based right here in northeastern Ohio. They have customers in the US and Canada, Latin America, Australia, New Zealand, and Europe. They have over 350 employees worldwide, with 45 of them residing here in their corporate headquarters in Cleveland. To date, TOA has raised over $44 million of venture and angel capital monies. They are a Gartner Award winner company 5 times. They are a WeatherWed 100 winner. They are a NEOSA Best of Tech Award winner 3 times. And company founder Yuval Brisker is the recipient of a TIE Global Entrepreneur Award. Please join me now in welcoming the second of our 2012 Venture of the Year finalists, John Updike of Toa Technologies.
Thanks very much. It's a pleasure to be here on behalf of Yuval and Arad and the rest of the board and the Toa team. We're very happy to be awarded this honor. I'm a relatively new member to the team at Toa. I started in December as the Vice President of Marketing, and I've got a couple of my team members with me here. And I can't tell you how excited we are and excited I am personally to be part of this growing organization in Northeastern Ohio and really across the world, as Jim described. We've got customers, just signed a new deal last night, and for us that's a big thing because we as a growing company, as we can get this flywheel of business keep moving as a SaaS-based delivery company, it really makes a difference. So we are excited to be here and representing Northeastern Ohio as we hit all the corners of the globe selling our services. And thank you again. Appreciate it.
Well, I've got some good news for you. For those of you who had the 1:30 tea times, you're going to make it. So for those of you who are not aware, we revamped the awards, and we restructured it so that we would have 2 finalists and then a winner. And we didn't want to throw too much distinction between the finalists and the winners. I mean, all these companies are incredible and they're great. And we also opened it up such that companies that are finalists have the opportunity to come back in future years and become winners. But this year's company that I'm going to introduce you to now did really stand out amongst the list of companies that we had submitted. And I just want to give you a little bit of color about the company, and then we're going to have the CEO, Jake Orville, join us up on the stage here, and he'll give you a little bit more color. But for those of you who don't know Cleveland Heart Lab, the mission of the company is stated as such. It's the mission of Cleveland Heart Lab to minimize cardiovascular events and improve outcomes in patients by better defining patients at risk, identifying the source and cause of the risk, and providing the tools to monitor therapeutic response. Now, for many of us in the room right now, this is or will be a very important mission. But to be a Venture of the Year award winner, you have to go beyond mission. Okay? You have to be impactful to the region. That's a key thing that we grade these companies on in terms of determining the winners. You have to be impactful to the region. So let's look a bit deeper at one of the criteria we use to measure the Venture of the Year, and that's regional impact. Now, every year, Cleveland's growing healthcare economy nourishes dozens of successful startup companies. Until recently, however, once these firms outgrew their space at the Cleveland Clinic or one of the city's business incubators, they almost inevitably fled to the suburbs, or worse, moved out of the region entirely. And that's because the city lacked the real estate product they needed, which is flexible, technology-ready office space with room to grow. Now, a little over a year ago, Cleveland Heart Lab inked a 10-year deal to lease 27,000 square feet of the 128,000 square foot Cleveland Midtown Tech Park, which is a development built on a former used car lot right smack dab in the middle of the city of Cleveland. Now, that recent good news, leaders say, signaled that the decade-old plan to transform the area into a hub of healthcare and technology companies is finally coming to fruition. Ultimately, the company decided to stay in Cleveland because of their promising growth in healthcare that is taking place here in the region in general. Their presence will anchor that vision and set the stage for other development and company attraction. Now, let me paraphrase a little bit from a story that was recently in MedCity News. The last year has been a successful and eventful one for the Cleveland-based company. It spurned a buyout offer from an unidentified Massachusetts suitor, so it stayed in the region. It closed on an $18.4 million Series B round of investment. It moved into a new building that quadrupled its office space. It made a splash at TEDMed, and it's eyeing new markets, including health and wellness. In less than 2 years since its inception, the company has grown from 8 employees to about 110. Now, this, I'm going to give you right now, this is a great quote. Okay? Management has positioned the company for continued growth and value creation, properly harnessing one of the biggest challenges that often dooms early-stage companies, success. The quote is mine. All right. I did that for my mom, sorry. This is why the OVA selected Cleveland Heart Lab as the best emerging company in Northeastern Ohio. Before I bring Jake up here, I want to also recognize one of the co-founders of the company, Mark Penn, is here in attendance. Mark is one of the most prolific entrepreneurs and MDs that we've got in the region, and I think single-handedly, Mark has been involved with companies in the last year that maybe have raised more venture money than any other company alone has. But please welcome me right now, please join me right now in welcoming our 2012 Ohio Venture Association Venture of the Year Award winner, Jake Orville of Cleveland Heart Lab.
Thank you, first of all, for the phenomenal introduction, and just an honor to be in front of a great community to be recognized. On behalf of 110 now employees, on behalf of our advisors, many of which are here in the room, and of course our investors, I want to thank the Ohio Venture Association for this wonderful, amazing recognition. To me, the technology, the innovation, and the early stage ventures coming out of Ohio is extremely impressive. Obviously, Explorus, Toa, Cleveland Heart Lab are wonderful examples of that. But there are actually many more. Before I moved to Cleveland in 2008, I had traveled to California and Boston looking for a venture. Two former colleagues and I stopped at just about every tech transfer office along the way. And our goal was to start a company. It wasn't until we came to Cleveland, having just gone to the coasts, until we sat down and said, this is truly amazing. We met with Case Western Reserve, we met with BioEnterprise, and of course the Cleveland Clinic. And we were just blown away at all the innovation, the incubation, and the technology coming out of the region. To me, however, what was most profound was the community's commitment to making these ventures successful. That's what really distinguished Ohio, and Cleveland in particular, from these other coastal visits. It was a community visit. And the community was incredibly committed to making sure that good ventures were funded, good ventures had good advisors, and good ventures had management and the personnel that they needed to succeed. That truly is the difference. If you don't know it, you should. And I don't know how often you get out of the region, but we need to know that it's the community and all the people in this room that truly is the distinction between other regions. It was that realization of the community that allowed me to move to the region. I met Mark Penn. We started Cleveland Heart Lab. And my two colleagues who actually joined me on those visits to the coasts also started another Cleveland-based company, Talera Therapeutics. So we were committed to the area. I just put together one slide, it may be animated, just to try and show you the elements of our success. And I tried to take some notes on what I think stands out in Cleveland Heart Lab's success. And I came up with three things that were incredibly fundamentally different of what we were doing at the time. The first is that we had a business model that always had a customer in mind. When Mark and I met, we knew we had good technology, we knew we could access good patents, we certainly knew we could access the region. But the one thing we never wavered from is what was the customer's need and interest. As an advisor and as a board member myself, all too often we have great technologies, good inventions, but we don't necessarily think about the customer. In fact, sometimes you think the customer will come to you. And although that might be the case, that timeline very often is longer than what an early stage company, employees, and certainly investors are willing to wait. We were maniacal about what we do was customer focused. The second fundamental thing that led to Cleveland Heart Lab's success, and I know this is cliche, but it's true, were the people. We started the company with 8 employees, and we were competing against $8 billion companies. And it was those 8 people that came to work every single day and said, we can do this, and we can do this one customer at a time. Those people never relented. Those people had the fire in the belly. Many of those people are here with us today, and they should be recognized for coming to work and saying, we can do this. But as we grew and as we scaled the company, Cleveland Heart Lab was able to recruit, hire, and retain the best in our industry. We were able to move executives that were executives at companies 4 times the size of Cleveland Heart Lab who came to this region for Cleveland Heart Lab. We were able to retain executives in the area that were contemplating leaving the area, but they stayed to be part of Cleveland Heart Lab. I believe, as I said, this community is really what distinguishes the innovation and incubation. I believe at the end of Cleveland Heart Lab, if there ever is an end, we will deliver some phenomenal talent and executives back into the region, having gone through the Cleveland Heart Lab success. And third, but certainly not last, a big difference in Cleveland Heart Lab's success was phenomenal and supportive investors. Many of those investors are here today. Glengarry and Steve Haynes Steve Haynes from Glengarry Capital, the Zappis family, the Imbrescia family, Les Vinny is not here today. These are investors who listened to Mark Penn and I and a PowerPoint presentation. That's all we had, and they believed in us, and they really realized that there was something here. But these are investors that went further than that. These are investors that knew we needed advisement, we needed mentorship, and these were investors that actually helped us expand the bandwidth of the leadership team before we had a leadership team. So thank you, the investors, for supporting Cleveland Heart Lab in the ups and the downs, but certainly in our success. I would hope, Rich, Tom, Steve, you'd feel just as good as I do today watching the success and the recognition that we've received. All I did was try to show you on a slide what success means for Cleveland Heart Lab. And I did this very late last night, so it's not completely to scale here for what I want to show, but I think I'll make the point the same. When we opened up Cleveland Heart Lab and when we got our first 200 samples in the door, I think Mark and I and Brad popped the champagne corks and said, we can do it. 200 samples came in the door that month, and we knew that there was a business and a customer here. 12 months later, we did 10,000 tests in 1 month. And although it doesn't look very exciting on this graph, there's a reason for that. I want to tell you that that broke a record in our space. Going from essentially nothing to 10,000 tests per month set a new record in the clinical laboratory space for first year of a clinical lab. And that was a record we set, although you can see it's a modest ramp. So we felt really good about ourselves. And again, these were employees, a couple of dozen of us that worked hard to accomplish this. But that's not the real story. 30 days later, Cleveland Heart Lab broke its own record 5 times over in a 30-day time period. That is when we realized what we were capable of. We had a customer opportunity, we looked at each other, and we looked at our investors and said, we will never get this opportunity again, and we said the word yes. So again, just to clarify, we broke a record in 11 or 12 months. We broke that same record 5 times over 30 days. Instead of popping champagne corks, we were popping other things to keep up with it. We introduce new employees now at Cleveland Heart Lab, and we tell them that there are heroes amongst us. There are heroes that in this 30-day period allowed us to keep going and allowed us to hire them. We were interviewing people and putting them to work that very moment. We had people that would work 20 and 24-hour shifts. At the end of the day, an early-stage company had to get through this, and we did. But that's not the whole story, because every 45 to 60 days, our company breaks that one-year record consistently. This is the growth of Cleveland Heart Lab in the first 30 months. And again, just to put it in perspective, the first 12 months broke a record. And so we're very, very pleased. So if you wouldn't mind helping me thank our employees that are here, I would really appreciate it. Jim stole my thunder, but I had 2 last comments, and that was to thank Mark Penn. For those of you that don't know him, you should. I think he's raised upward of about $50 million over the last 12 months for his ventures. And as an entrepreneur, I've realized I need to know a lot. But one of the things I really need to know is what I don't know. And to be able to partner with someone like Mark, a brilliant researcher, scientist, and also physician, to be able to cover for those areas that I don't know, truly makes me better, makes our company better, and we're very, very thankful. The last comment I'll make is when you see the bottom left 00 there, before the first 200 samples came in, there were 4 times I went home at night and said it didn't work. 4 times. My wife remembers them. And it really was the people in this room, the advisors that are here, the employees that are here, and of course, our investors that were able to remind me of the great opportunity we had. So fortunately, I came back that 5th time and said we can do it. So thanks for all your support. Thank you for the recognition. It's an honor to be up here tonight.
Well, I'm happy to say that looking back 2 years ago when we made these changes that we were right. And we did find some gems in this region. We did make the right move in terms of looking to celebrate the growth of companies and not just the exit for the entrepreneurs. And I'm happy to say that we've got 3 great companies here, 3 gems in the city, and I want to encourage the management teams and the members and the employees and the backers of those gems, keep polishing them, keep shining them up. The region can use more of them, and we look forward to seeing their exits years and years and years from now, and the money flowing back into the region and the creation of more multi-billion-dollar companies. So with that, I'm going to end today's meeting, and I want to thank you all for joining us, and have a good day on the links. Bye.